Okay, the first thing I'm going to show is the creation of the Stripe webhook endpoint. So first of all, why did we create this? Well, we're starting to build a payment tier system into our backend and for our user accounts. And in the future, this will give users the ability to upgrade, pay for an account and have even more features than they would get with just a free account. So one of the things that we need for this is we need a way for Stripe to tell us when something is happening with the payment. So the work that Connor did here was kind of set up like basically a webhook, but a way for our servers to get messages from the Stripe servers telling us exactly what happened with a user. So maybe they signed up for a new plan, they might have created an account, they might have downgraded, something like that. We always want to know exactly what's going on with our payment so that we can update it on our end. So that's what this work was here. Just going through the code a little bit. I'm pretty much just going to show this API endpoint right here, which is the webhook. And again, just to give a little context here, this is GitHub and this is the code change. And everything that you see here in green is new code and that was added to this users.py file. So you can see we have this /webhook endpoint right here. And then we were essentially going to grab a bunch of data from the message coming into our servers from Stripe, and then we can take some action on that. So that's usually going to mean updating the database or something like that. For this part of the recording, please don't show this because we don't really want to show what's going after the public. So now I'm actually going to try this live and see if it will work. I'm running a fake, like simulated Stripe server here. And this is essentially going to intercept some of the actions coming from Stripe and then point them to my local machine. So what I'm going to do here in my terminal is run Stripe trigger customer subscription updated. And actually, before I do that, I'm going to go to Stripe and then we can look at the different events here. And I'm going to go to test mode and then I just said earlier, events, here we go. Okay. So let's see, the last event was 7:47 this morning. And when I trigger this event here, we should see that in the event logs as well. With that, I'm gonna run a couple of these actions here. I can see that the server updated here as well. And then when I refresh in the events, we can see right now, today at 8:36, a bunch of these events just happened. So it looks like a draft invoice was created, payment, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So this came from, this action was triggered on Stripe backend, and then they let us know that happened and we updated our data in the back. Any questions so far?
No, I think you covered it well. Yeah, basically just the one sentence summary is like gives Stripe a way to communicate to us when something changes with the user account so we know to change it in our own database, for example.
Yep, exactly. Cool. All right. So the next thing I'll demo is a little bit related, but it's a new user info endpoint. And we're really going to utilize this when we're dynamically changing the front end based on the user's payment tier. So this endpoint, and again, please don't show this code when this goes out to the public with the recording. We now have a get user info endpoint here on the back end. And again, it's all green. So this is code that was added in this PR. So there's the get user info. And all we have to do is pass the user's ID. And then we'll get back a bunch of their account information. And then we can make changes on the front end based on that. So I'm actually going to go over here to my account. And this is Postman. So we're going to hit our backend servers with my user ID right here. And then it will return my account information. Not found. Interesting. Oh, I think I have to be on a different branch.
Yeah, I think you're on a feature branch that doesn't have it. Yeah.
1 second here. Okay, there's my account info. And you can see we actually have this new field on the account, payment tier params with GPT-4 access set to false. So this is the field right here, and you know, in the future, there will be other ones in this list as well that will really allow us to change the front end and give user different functionality based on the payment tier. I'll also go to post hog really quick and show in our feature flags, here are the different options for this. So for the free tier, we can go access is false, which is what you saw in my account. We also have a pro tier, which that would be true, and then the tier that's true as well. And like I said, in the future, we'll be adding even more fields and parameters into this payment tier. All right. Awesome. Last thing I'm going to demo here is not really a demo, but just kind of want to talk about the new workflow that the Eng team has implemented in this past sprint. So previously, we would push our code to the staging branch. And just to give some clarity on that, a branch is kind of like a container with a feature of code that you're working on. So I might create a new branch every time I do something new on the UI. And then we also have one branch that's always production, which is the main branch. So previously we would push to staging, and then staging would push to main. But now we're actually able to push to staging whenever we want without an approval. And then we're separately creating pull requests, or like a merging of our branch into the production branch, which does require an approval. So this does two things. First of all, we can always push to staging and get it out into the world for anybody to test, which is awesome because I don't have to wait for an approval to push something new to the UI. I can just ship it that day. And then two, because we're only pushing our code to main when it's production ready, main should always be working. So we shouldn't find as many bugs in main as we were previously.